Captain's log, supplemental. We are currently orbiting Earth, which is the planet where the Prime Michael Chan lives. Captain to bridge, status report. Sir, there seems to be a man in a suit flying towards us. Shut up, Michael! But sir, it seems to be Alexander Black. I said shut up, Ensign! Is there anyone else on that godforsaken bridge who can give me a proper status report? Sir, this is Lieutenant Chen. The man is firing on our... See, Ensign, was it so hard to give us a proper status report? Oh no, it's a warp breach! We're gonna... Damn you, Michael Chan! Damn you! Hey everybody, welcome to the 27th episode of the Hellbound Podcast. I love this thing. I am actor Michael Chan. You can watch me on Star Trek Discovery Season 4. And I have a wonderful co-host who is... Who are you?
I am Alex Blackburn, the founder of the Hellbound Horror Festival, which will be kicking off on the 1st of August. And unbeknownst to Michael, we'll be putting out a call for people to be interviewed that are ready to submit their films soon. So when the process kicks off on the 1st of August, you can submit your short films. Hopefully, we'll be announcing some guest judges soon. Last year, we had Joe Alves, the production designer of Jaws. We had 2 years ago, we had also Alex Proyas, director of The Crow. We had some fantastic judges. Hopefully, we're going to have a few more this year, and it's going to be a really exciting process. So, we're looking to interview our filmmaking, our submitters, our new filmmakers. So, if you want to be part of that, we'll be putting a call out for that soon.
Unbeknownst to me, as in you didn't consult me?
Yeah.
As in you're a fellow producer?
Yeah.
So I noticed, I couldn't help noticing, Alex, that your camera looks a little different today. It's not as clear. It's from a different angle. You know, unbeknownst to me, huh? I know who you are. You're the Alexander Blackburn doppelganger.
Yeah, because I'd never...
See, I knew after we talked about you last week that you'd show up finally. What'd you do with the real one? Because the real one consults me on everything.
The real one is just up there. Inside the attic, yeah.
Inside the attic? Is that why you're showing me the the attic door from this angle? You're trying to indicate...
I've wrapped him in cling film. Like that lady that's on the chair in Black Christmas, that's sitting in the chair for the entire movie.
Well, Alexander, you and I have beef now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a nostril shot, isn't it?
Quite.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat the snot out of you.
Yeah.
And get back the real Alexander Blackburn.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be back next week.
I'm sure he is. Well, for now, since I cannot teleport over to England, since one of my doppelgangers blew up my transporter, and I'm currently rebuilding it, I will allow you to co-host with me for today.
Okay, thank you, Michael.
Okay. But after that, you are toast.
Yeah. I am toast.
You are. One time I made a slice of toast, and I swear to God I saw Alexander Prime's face, on the toast, on the burnt part of the toast.
That's amazing.
Right.
That's amazing.
Unless it was Jesus. It might have been Jesus.
It might
have been Alexander.
I told you that story, right? The Jesus story in a painting, which I did this painting, folded it over.
Oh, right.
Do you remember that? Oh, my God. Yeah, that was many moons ago when I was in chess club.
Chess club?
Yeah, I used to be part of chess club.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I was okay. I wasn't great. My geography teacher who led that, he was a very, very good player. But yeah, I wasn't great, but I really enjoyed being part of that.
Oh man, I was let's see, ping pong club, yearbook club, volleyball team, and for a short time basketball team, and also tennis team. Those were my
Awesome.
extracurriculars.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah. I had a tennis part. Oh my god, that was a nightmare.
Why is
That was a horror story. So I was placed on the doubles part of the school tennis team when we went to compete with other schools, because as a singles tennis player I was so, and we had a whole bunch of really good singles players. So I got placed with another player who was also not so good at singles, and we became a doubles team. And outside of tennis, we got along like really well. We were pretty good friends outside of it. Well, okay, I wouldn't say friends. I say we got along well, but then, you know, we didn't speak a lot at all. He was like a grade older than me and blah blah blah. So I rarely saw him, but when we did see each other, it's always like really good. But for some reason, when we teamed up, it was like we're an old married couple who hated each other. Like, it was so bad that we would be arguing, just bickering all through our matches when we're playing other schools. So the other team would always be like absolutely confused as they're listening to us literally screaming at each other through the entire match. Like, even while we're going back and forth with the ball, right? With the other team, we'd still be yelling at each other and mocking each other's like everything. Like, oh, what kind of hit was that? What was that? That swing sucked. Why can't you just hit it over there? You know, like, just the entire match. And it was hilarious because, like, we didn't win a lot, but when we did, mostly it's because the other team was so distracted by just how bad our arguing was that they couldn't concentrate. And at times they were just too busy laughing. So really, the question is, was that a good tactic?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people complain about people's yelling or groaning, so arguing and saying random things. I think that's a tactic. Yeah, that sounds.
But no, it really wasn't. It's just like I said, we weren't very good tennis players, and as a team, we were equally bad. But I don't know, just something about the two of us working together just didn't work. I would imagine as adults now that if we ever play tennis again as a team, we'd be fine. I'm a lot nicer now. I was a terrible teenager.
What kind of teenager were you? You horrible to people, or I can't imagine you. There's no chance Michael.
I was like, I had two sides of me. I had the very extremely nerdy, quiet, studious. Like, I was a straight A student.
Right.
Like, it was trained into me by my parents, and you know, that's fine. It's discipline.
Yeah.
But the other half of me, because I was so sheltered and bubbled and a little bit repressed, just my parents come from, you know, a very strict Asian culture, and I'm born here.
Yeah.
I had kind of a bit of a rebellious side, and, you know, a bit of a problem with authority.
Wow, that's a new side I've not heard about.
I just didn't like being told, because I got that so much at home, and I never talked back to my parents.
That must have been really, like you say, repressed and bottled up.
Yeah, but like, I also faced an incredible amount of racism. And also I went to a rich private school where I also faced classism because my family was in a lower tier of wealth. My parents, like, basically worked to keep me in school because they thought private schools, based on their very Asian view of the education systems and around the world, that private school is where, you know, you get the best education. So they worked very hard and used most of their money, even during the recession, to keep me at a private school where they thought I would get a better education. So I faced an insane amount of racism, and combined with like classism with that. So I wasn't just a filthy Asian, I was a filthy poor Asian. You know,
Wow.
I basically saw injustice, and I refused to let my classmates and my teachers keep me down, and that caused a lot of problems for me and my family. So I can talk all about having a problem with authority all I want, and you know, but really it's like a combo. It's good and bad. You know what I mean? Because that
absolutely.
problem I had with it also it's like multifaceted, right? Like there were terrible things going on. So I was half just, but the sheer level of anger I came about it, to me, was not smart. Now, looking back as an adult, I'm like,
Yeah.
God, there's better ways I could have handled that. That could have gotten a more positive, thoughtful result. But
Yeah.
as a child, you know, I didn't know how to do that. So
Yeah,
I reacted the way
yeah.
the only way I could see back then how to react, which was with a lot of rage, and that's not good, and that was never good.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you, I'm going through a small amount of self-reflection where since being seriously ill with COVID in December 2020, I have a much shorter fuse. Like I can't tolerate people. Sometimes I can really tolerate people if it's small things, but I can potentially fly off the handle on very, inconsequential things and simple things. And it's, it doesn't affect my work life, but like if I've had a stressful day at work, that negative energy is channeled at home. And 90% of arguments I kind of get into with my partner or my friends is I know it's me. I absolutely know it's me. And, I think getting past the PTSD of being seriously ill and accepting you're going to pass away in hospital, because I did after 4 days, accepted it. I'm slowly grown used to surviving. And I know this, I caught something, I survived hospital, I had treatment, so I've been very lucky. And that's the closest I've been to surviving, a serious thing in my life. And through that, letting go of that and the anxiety and everything has been difficult. And it kind of bubbles up. Like there's certain housing related things that I've had to deal with over the last 2 weeks or so, which we talked about before we started recording.
Of what you've been telling.
The real horror story that I can't get into for at least another 8 to 9 weeks, but I will at some point.
We'll do an entire episode. No,
yeah, I'll take photographs, do it forensically,
about the nightmare neighbor.
Yeah, like a Netflix documentary. That's what it'll be like.
You know what? That should be the title of that episode: Nightmare Neighbor.
Nightmare Neighbor. Yeah, okay, that's what it's going to be called.
Yeah.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that particular.
Stay tuned, folks.
So yeah, I've just that inner rage you talked about. I've observed it in myself, and it's really kind of a horrible thing. And I really need to kind of dispel that. And it'll probably be going to some sort of piece of writing, creative writing, because that's what I used to do. I used to do a lot of writing, and I used to write my own episodes of the Time Tunnel. I don't know if you remember that show.
Let's steer this ship back to our actual show. Yeah. Now that we've, gone on so much about ourselves. I have a movie.
Before I know, I'm sorry to cut you off, but talking about steering the ship, the film recommendation that I want to see, that I want us to both see, is called Titanic 666.
Okay, you start. Can you please talk about Titanic 666, because that intrigues me. I have not seen it.
So heard of it. There's a service. I don't know if you might know it. You probably have a better idea than me. I think it's a Canadian or American channel called Tubi, Tubi.
Oh God, yeah, Tubi. I've heard of it. I honestly, there are too many streaming services. I just haven't even looked into it.
So it's a Tubi original film, and it has.
Sorry.
Right?
What? They are making their own stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely original. Jamie Bamber's in it, who's in.
Sorry, Tubi. No offense, Tubi. I would love to be in one of your films, Tubi. Please book me.
The only known actor I know, it doesn't have to have known actors in, but the only one I recognize is Jamie Bamber, who's in Battlestar Galactica, the kind of remake series, and he's very, very good in that. And it's about the Titanic 3. It's a rebuild of the original ship, and it takes a journey across the Atlantic, and it's about evil goings on after they pass the area in the Atlantic where the Titanic sank. And it looks horrific, really horrific. But I really want to watch it now.
Oh my goodness! I need to see this.
Yeah, I think we need to see it for at least next week or a future
Oh my
episode.
god! Oh my god! That's it. That's the movie I'm going to go and watch with my wife. So Jessica is a huge fan. My wife Jessica is a huge fan of the Titanic, like the movie Titanic with Leo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I am not a fan of that movie, and I'm going to put this out in the open into the public sphere. My wife and I have had a rivalry since we met because she doesn't like Lord of the Rings.
What?
And I don't like Titanic. And it has been a huge point of contention in our relationship, jokingly most of the time. Sometimes it gets a little nasty, but basically I trash Titanic and she trashes Lord of the Rings. However, I would like to also give her credit. She can recognize the good parts of Lord of the Rings, like the battles and all that. She calls the good parts, and I will recognize what I think are good parts of Titanic, which is I love the ship stuff, like the engine rooms, the remake of like just how beautiful all of that was, the sets. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
But the rest of the movie was crap. And then she'll say the rest of Lord of the Rings was crap. So at least the two of us can recognize some good. But anyways,
I
because
agree,
of that,
the production of
agree?
Titanic is massive, is monumental. What Cameron produces, you might not like his writing or how it kind of ended up, but the production design, I think James Horner's score is kind of haunting.
Oh, the score! Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's amazing.
And they flipped to get to the other side of the ship. They flipped the image, and you can actually see Titanic life belts that are spelt the wrong way around. There's certain things like that. But the sets and effects and the horror when you see the boat in the water and when you're looking up at it, the scale of it is monumental.
I challenge people to watch Titanic as a horror film.
It really is.
Because really, the iceberg is the villain. I know there's an actual human villain in that film, but seriously, I don't even give a crap about that. The story is nothing. Actually, no. Watch it for the story, because the story is the horror in that film. I'm sorry. I'm now putting the rivalry out there. My wife is going to listen to this episode, and she's going to yell at me throughout the episode now. This will be great. Yeah. Yeah, no, seriously, that love story is the horror story. Just watch it as a horror. Just understand how terrifying that love story is, because it was so poor. And you know what? Rose killed Jack. There was room on that door. Jess, there was room on that door. He could have been on it. He didn't have to die in the water. Rose could have let him on, but she killed him. She's a murderer, and she is the villain. There you go. Not the iceberg. Rose is the villain. Ha!
Yeah.
And like, what's with the drawing scene? Dude, he's a psychopath. He's drawing his victim, and somehow, anyways, they're both killers, but one serial killer killed the other serial killer. There you go.
And what a waste of a priceless necklace at the end of the movie. They could have given that money to charity if you just sold it.
Oh my God, that's another horror right there. I was thinking the same thing. Like, what an absolute waste. And where did they mine the sapphire? Like, have we not thought about like the poor workers who had to go down and mine, the gemstones to get the sapphire? And she just goes and throws it in the freaking ocean. Dude, now at least do something with that thing. By the way, I bought my wife that very necklace for her birthday this year. Okay,
awesome.
I want to watch Titanic 666 with Jess. We all need to.
God, we have to watch it. It looks horrific. Terrific.
Oh
Do you know there's actually a guy, a billionaire, I think he's an Australian billionaire, that's trying to build an exact duplicate of the Titanic?
Oh, please, God, no.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got a book signed by the last 3 survivors of the Titanic.
That's amazing.
I was obsessed with the Bob Ballard because I used to watch Sequest DSV, and he was always on the end of every episode. And because of that show, I became obsessed with the Titanic because he would always have something about the seas or the oceans or animals that lived in it. And he was the one that discovered the Titanic wreckage. Was it 1986? I think it was. But yeah, I used to be obsessive about many aspects of it. So that's Titanic 666, and we'll have a watch party or something about that. So, Michael,
Yes.
you were telling me before we started to record that you watched something recently called The Cellar. Is that right?
So on Shudder, there is a film called The Cellar. Now, if you don't have Shudder and for some reason want to watch this film, it's also available to purchase or rent or whatever on Google TV. I think they changed Google Play to Google TV now, whatever. Okay, so here's the thing. Have you heard of Alicia Cuthbert?
Yeah, one of the screen grabs reminded me of her in 24.
Right, so that is her. So I haven't seen her in a long time, but like she is a freaking Canadian legend. She was originally known for being in Popular Mechanics for Kids, a show that I definitely watched.
Okay.
And then later, as you said, she was from 24. And I gotta say, like, I loved her in 24, and seeing her act alongside Kiefer Sutherland, a fellow Canadian, was also pretty awesome. Also, watching her get kidnapped every single season. I mean, is it even a season of 24 if Alicia Cuthbert wasn't kidnapped?
Yeah.
Sorry, just poking at 24 here.
But
I loved her.
Or get kidnapped every 3rd episode.
Oh, good point. Good point.
That's how it felt, right?
Once they get her back, she gets kidnapped again. And even later on, when she gets badass, because she's been kidnapped so many times that now she's like, yeah, I'm a badass. They still kidnap her.
Yeah, that's right.
But she's now a badass who's kidnapped, whatever. So the point is, I loved her. I think she's a fantastic actor, and I thought that after 24, I would see her in tons and tons of other stuff. Unfortunately, not only have I not seen her for years, I haven't even thought about her for years, and that makes me very, very sad. But when I saw her face on the poster of The Cellar, I got super excited because it's freaking Alicia Cuthbert. She's back, baby. Oh man, I wish the movie was better.
Oh god.
Oh, okay, so family moves into house. As per usual, for reasons. House is very old. Stuff from previous owners are left in the house. Again, I don't know why this happens so much in the US, but apparently people just buy old houses and everything is left there and they don't do anything with that stuff. And nobody even checks anything. Like, have you ever noticed when you have a house and the movie's about a house and how evil it is? There's like stuff they never, like rooms they never checks, like the attic or the basement or cellar or whatever it is in the States that they have down there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I've never been in here. Why? Didn't you do a show? No, whatever. The point is, they move into this house, bad things start happening, and one of the kids disappears. So they're trying to find this kid. And I was so excited at first. Like they posed a lot of good questions. It was pretty suspenseful at the beginning, and there was a lot of interesting concepts to this film. So I would say the first half is fantastic. Then I feel like the writer or writers, I don't know how many people wrote this thing, but it's like they didn't know how to end it. So they created all of this mystique and suspense and horror, and just you're waiting for the answers to all of this and to see how it all turns out, and it just falls apart, completely falls apart. And it's like such an anticlimactic ending, and there really are no answers to a bunch of stuff. One of the most intriguing, I don't want to spoil, but there's one aspect of this film that was very unique. And when you're watching it, it has to do with a record player and some symbols. Okay. It's so intriguing. And I was like, man, I've never seen something like this before. Okay. And so I was waiting for like, what is it and why? And when the what is it and why showed up, it really didn't answer why.
Oh God, that sounds
and on top of that, what it ended with was really dumb, like really dumb. And there were like a million plot holes in the second half. Like Jess and I were just sitting there staring like at the screen going, what, why? No, but this doesn't work. That doesn't work. That contradicts this. And like, it just, I'm so angry because of how good the first half was. Yeah. And it's Alicia Cuthbert, right? Like, I was hoping like that this is the film that would bring her back, like in force. But no, I don't think. I mean, unless they put her in something else.
Yeah. Like
if Shudder likes her and just keeps putting her in stuff, I guess. I'm sad. I love her. She's such, and again, Canadian, fellow Canadian actor, and it's difficult for me to watch someone who, had such a big role in the past. 2 big roles, really. Like I said, she's a freaking icon. Popular Mechanics is an iconic show.
Was that a kid's show?
Hard for me. It is. Was.
Yeah.
But
she's great, and honestly, Michael and I, for everyone listening, we didn't agree to we talk about films we've seen ourselves and things we were looking forward to, and I had no idea that Michael was going to talk about The Cellar. I saw the poster; it looked great. I love watching her. I think she was terrific in 24. And like you say, she kind of just disappeared off the map completely.
Yeah, I will say her performance, like she took it seriously. She took this film very seriously, and she gave a phenomenal performance for what she was given.
Yeah,
it's just, for me, it's sad to watch an actor do such an incredible job for something that was so unsatisfying.
Oh, God, absolutely, yeah.
So I personally cannot recommend it.
Was the setup okay in terms of the kind of the
reason? That's what I said. The first half where they set everything up was fantastic. I really got behind this film, and then it just crumbled, like completely fell apart.
I'm really curious to see.
And it was just tragic.
Well. Let's have a look.
I just don't understand. Like, I just don't know how you could screw it up that bad.
Oh God. Okay, let's have a quick look. So, director, he did. I'm not too sure about any of those. Let's have a little look. Oh, it's the same. So the director's also the screenwriter. Okay. Oh, okay. That's interesting. He's only been making features since 2009, so. Okay. So he's mainly horror based. Yeah, that's one of the biggest disappointments with almost any flick. Really, is how it can be just let down. Like I watched, what was it? What was that? Del Toro movie, Nightmare Alley, and I know a couple of people that worked on the movie, and it's really visually striking. I've never seen so much camera movement in a movie like Nightmare Alley. Cast is amazing. Honestly, there's so much movement in the camera. It's almost, I'd say it's part of the story in many ways in terms of the magic and the kind of misdirection of what Del Toro's trying to do. But the final act kind of really lets it down for me. Yeah, and that's one of the biggest disappointments in movies, really, is you don't walk out satisfied. And I went to see the Nicolas Cage movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, last week. And I knew
I'm going to have a watch party with it with my best friends.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, it's disappointing
Good
to
to hear.
hear that the Cellar was a letdown, and I didn't know it was a Shudder film, but I think I will check it out anyway.
I do hope, honestly, that Alicia gets something else and soon,
Yeah,
because like it would be very nice to have her kind of back in the spotlight, because I think she deserves it. She's that good. I want to recommend something for people to watch. I don't remember if I've ever talked about this, but one of my favorite animes is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I'm currently wearing a baseball cap of my favorite JoJo, uh,
awesome. Oh, that's great.
Jotaro Kujo. Um, so it's I'm trying to describe it. It's a very long anime. It's like I'm not even caught up yet. But it's about a family called the Joestars, and it's there's like this villain called Dio, and Dio Brando. He becomes a vampire and
Okay.
basically plagues this family for generations. So it's the story of the Joestars. At least at first, it's the
Yeah.
story of the Joestars fighting Dio, and all the other parts of the thing that turned him into a vampire. Um, there's a lot of horror elements to it, which is why I am recommending it. But there's also like incredible like martial arts sequences. Just it's also a very chaotic series. Like there is a very colorful, and there's this, you have to like accept that a lot of stuff is just over the top, like
Yeah.
really over the top. Like if you've watched the movie Crank, you'll understand what I'm saying. Like it's over the top, it's ridiculous, but
Yeah.
it's
Absolutely.
fun. It's so much fun, and I love the characters. I love and like at one point they travel the world. Like one of the my favorite JoJo, he gets to travel the world, and uh they have like little tidbits about each country they go to. It's really nice. And like all the powers that the characters have are cool to watch. I just think it's a great anime for people to get into. It's just so much fun, and like I said, war elements, vampires, and other monsters.
That sounds great, man.
Like there is an entire arc with like Egyptian gods, or at least analogs of Egyptian gods. It's so much fun.
Yeah, like I think the iconography of ancient Egypt is awesome to look at. I started to watch Moon Knight recently, and it kind of
Oh my goodness, yeah.
delves into that, and it's the horror elements of that in terms of what's going on in his head. Or I've only seen I think the first two episodes
Right.
is tremendous, and yeah, that anime sounds fantastic.
Yeah. So JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, check it out, guys. I highly recommend it. It is one of Japan's like biggest, most popular animes for a reason. So yeah, have a look. And if any of you see like this trend on Twitter where people like there's like an epic song in the background and then they bend backwards, almost like they're trying to do like the limbo. That's usually a JoJo reference.
Oh, cool.
They have really backbendy poses in the show. Like I said, it's over the top, so their poses are ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, also, we'll definitely put a link in the show notes for everything we discussed, and we'll send links to Titanic 666, The Cellar, and JoJo's Big Adventure.
Bizarre Adventure. Yeah. And that's all for me this week.
Yeah, I think that rounds it off nicely, Michael.
All right.
So what have you got going on outside of the podcast at the moment?
I am still part of the cast of Star Trek Radio Theater. We have not announced our next episode yet, so I don't know when we're doing another one, but we have a huge library of past episodes for all of you to check out. We have our YouTube version, which was live, and then our producer Dave Mater, he goes and like cleans everything up. Sometimes, if there's like really big mess ups, some of us re-record like one word or one line or whatever. So we have cleaned up versions on all podcast platforms for all of you to listen to. And I once Star Trek Discovery comes back, I don't know when that's happening, but there is a season 5 announced. I will be part of the Live Long and Podcast episode reaction show. And considering I am a cast member of Discovery, let's hope I come back next season and can once again talk about being there. Otherwise, I'll just be reviewing everything and giving it a really positive review so that I don't get in trouble with CBS.
Well, I hope
I'm always honest.
I hope I find out in a year's time that you're in it, because that's the only time I'll find out. But
I hope I
be
find
happy
out
for
in a
that,
year's
yeah.
time that I'm in it.
Yeah, well, that would be incredible. That would be incredible.
That would be. I don't know if any of you have heard of the old show, comedy show, Kids in the Hall. Well, they are coming back on May 13th, 2022 on Amazon Prime. I think it's Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are coming back. I highly recommend that all of you check it out. Comedy is as good as ever. Their sketches are fantastic. Have always been, and now there are no censors. So,
oh wow, that's interesting.
so they're unleashed. So watch what the Kids in the Hall, because the original cast is back. Watch what they can do when there's nothing stopping them, nothing holding them back.
That's awesome. And if you'd like to follow us on Instagram, it is Hellbound Horror Festival. Let me just confirm that. I will probably re-edit that out. Ugh. Where are we? If you like, we are on Instagram. We're at Hellbound Horror Festival, and if you like to find
the
out
Hellbound Podcast.
Oh my god,
dude,
I'm gonna keep all that in.
Please keep all that in. You're like plugging the festival instead of the podcast, Graham. Come on.
Oh my god! Please follow us at the Hellbound Podcast on Instagram. And if you want to find out more, you have to go through the podcast.
Also, if you like what you're listening to and haven't done so already, please consider subscribing or following us on your preferred podcast app. Also, if they have like a way to review us, please give us a positive review, 5 out of 5 stars, 10 out of 10, whatever the top marks are, because I'm Asian. I like getting top marks. I'm an A+ student, as I mentioned earlier. But on top of all that, it helps keep us, it helps get us featured on the front page, helps them push the apps, push our podcast so we get more listeners. And with more listeners over time, it means we can do a lot more of this show. And we would love to do a lot more for all of you. Back to our Instagram. If you have anything horror related that you would like featured, like a cosplay, a makeup, music video, short film, whatever, send us a private message. Again, that's at the Hellbound Podcast. And as always, harness to darkness.